Hello friends, I'm Dr. Praveen Tripathi. I'm a senior psychiatrist, de-addiction and sexual disorder specialist. In this video, I want to talk about a very important issue, anger management. So a lot of clients come, a lot of patients come, their family members come, and they ask me how can they control their anger better. So today in this video, I would talk about the 3 principles that are used usually for anger management. The first and the foremost is the principle of delay the response. What has been observed is, in any situation, our brain tends to produce 2 kinds of responses. The first response is an instantaneous response, it's an immediate response, and it comes from the right side of the brain. While this response is instantaneous, it's not a logical or rational response. This response comes in the heat of the moment. On the other hand, after some time, say after a gap of 15-20 minutes, another response comes from the mind, which comes from the left side of the brain, and this one, though delayed, is a more rational response. When we use the principle of delay the response, what essentially we are trying to do is, we are trying to replace the right side response with the left side response. I will give you a real life example to make this point more clear. A couple of weeks back, I had a patient in my clinic, a mother and a son, who had come back from US, and the son had a cannabis use problem. The mother was very worried about him. We tried doing a couple of sessions, but he did not improve. So finally we decided that it would be better for him if he goes and gets admitted in a rehab center. The same evening I got a message from the mother where she asked me that, could you please give me more details about the rehab center and also give me reference of a couple of patients who went over there and who became better. Now when I saw that message, my immediate response was anger. I felt I'm not supposed to answer these questions. They are not supposed to even ask such questions from me. And I immediately started typing that, ma'am, this is not my job. I'm not giving you references of any patients, and kindly contact the hospital. But I stopped. I was reminded of my principle of delay the response. I did not push the send button. I waited for 15-20 minutes. I gave myself 15-20 minutes, and in those 15-20 minutes, the thought that came into my mind was, here is a woman who is in her mid-40s, who has come all the way from US, whose only son is into cannabis, and it is but obvious that she is worried. And because of that worry, she is anxious, and that anxiety is creating her, is leading to these questions. So instead of sending that mean reply, I deleted that reply and I sent a very nice reply that, ma'am, I'm not aware of any such references, and if you want to get more knowledge, kindly contact the hospital authority. And she responded back that, thank you, doctor. So in this example, you can see that the first response came from the right side of the mind, was full of anger and not a very well thought of response. But when I stopped myself for 15 minutes, the response became more logical, more empathetic, and a much better response in totality. So this is the first principle of delay the response. The second principle is anticipate the situation. More often than not, we know when we are walking into a situation of conflict. We know that this is the time when we are likely to lose our temper, when we are likely to get into a fight. So if you are able to anticipate it, avoid it. You can always avoid that situation, and in case you are not able to avoid it, you can always rehearse your response. You can speak in your own mind what words are you going to use and how are you going to handle the situation. Often it is seen that people don't get angry by what you say, but by the way you say it. So by a little rehearsal, you are able to use the words very wisely. So anticipate the situation. And the third principle is resolve the conflict when you are calm. Now this point is extremely important, especially in the couples. So in couples, what we see is they fight and then they try to diffuse the fight. They try to go back to normalcy, and 15-20 days later, they fight on the same issue again. Now this is very important that once the conflict is over, once the confrontation is over, you sit down calmly and discuss the issue. Find a solution to the problem when you are in a calm state of mind, so that you don't keep on fighting on the same issue again and again. So resolving the problems when you are calm in between the fights is very important. So these are the 3 important principles that must be used for anger management. and I hope you are able to implement them in your lives and stay away from anger. Thank you. Best wishes.